everybody, welcome back to my channel, and I hope everybody is living their best life. And if you aren't, please do something today that gets you on the path of living your best life. So today I'm going to be making a very yummy tomatoey eggplant sauce. I already tried out this recipe, so I know it's good, and this is after the fact of eating it. And even my mom, my dad, well, not my dad, my mom and my sisters, they said that it was good. My dad didn't try it yet. Alright, so you're going to be needing 2 red bell peppers, a zucchini, 1 eggplant, half of a cup or about a cup of those little cherry tomatoes, a bunch of green onions, some baby yellow mushrooms, 2 cans of tomato sauce, rosemary, oregano, black pepper, thyme, basil, some bay leaves. You're only going to need 2 of those at the end. And then you're also going to need some Himalayan pink salt. There we go, there it's focused. You're also going to need some Himalayan pink salt and a little bit of red pepper. You're also going to need a cutting board, a knife, a bowl to wash off all your fruits and vegetables, since the eggplant, zucchini, and red bell pepper and tomatoes are technically a fruit, I guess. And then you're also going to need some either vegetable wash or like apple cider vinegar, lemon, whatever you use to clean your vegetables. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, so I had just got done washing off all the vegetables and fruits. So you're going to go ahead and start cutting up the eggplant. So for this, you have to cut off the stem or the head of the eggplant. Then you have to cut off the very bottom of it, as you'll see that I'm doing right here. There we go. And then in the last recipe that I did for this, it was off camera. I wanted to try it out before I showed you guys. I put it into too many chunks, like it was too chunky. So for this one, I made sure to slice it up very small, but I didn't mince it. So I did probably about 4 to 5 slices going straight across, and then I start chopping it up, as you'll see in this little clip right here. You guys, and then now it's time to cut up the zucchini. Again, it's just like the eggplant, cut off the head and then the tail of the zucchini, and then I sliced it straight down the middle so I can get easier access. And I did the same with it. I did really small chunks because the last time I made the sauce way too chunky and it just wasn't my taste, you know. But yeah, one thing I would like to note about the zucchini and the eggplant is that alone, they're nasty in my opinion. Let's just be real. I do not like the flavor of them. It's very bitter, it's just like a weird taste. And also both the zucchini and the eggplant, but the eggplant especially, it has like a spongy texture, you know? But that's why it makes it perfect for sauce. When you add these 2 into the sauce a little bit later after the flavors have developed, you can really just taste a burst of flavor whenever you bite into the zucchini or the eggplant. Alright, and now I'm going to go ahead and cut up the mushrooms. For these, I like them chunky in the sauce, so I just split them right in half. And I feel like it gives the sauce a very nice earthy flavor. So yeah, that's just what I'm going to do for the mushrooms. I'm just going to cut them straight in half. Alright, and on to the bell peppers. So for these, it was already sliced in half. Well, not even sliced. I ripped them in half when I was cleaning them and getting all the seeds out. But you can slice it in half if you want to. And then for this sauce particularly, I didn't want them to be too chunky, or the red bell pepper pieces to be too chunky or too small, because 1, if they're too small, I wouldn't be able to taste any of the flavor from the red bell pepper, and 2, if it was too chunky, I wouldn't be able to get any other food on top of the spoon. So I decided just to make them into relatively small chunks or relatively small slices, and then from those slices I slice them down the middle to make them a little bit more bite-sized. Alright, so in the beginning when I cleaned off the bell peppers, I ripped them in half. So I cut up 3 of the halves. So 1 whole bell pepper and then half of another, and that's the one that's going into the sauce. And then for the 4th half, or the second part of the second bell pepper, I cut that in half. I sliced up half of that and I'm putting that into the sauce. But then for the other half of that, I'm deciding to add like a little garnish on top. And when you add a little bit of the fresh bell pepper, and then you're gonna see me later add a little bit of the fresh green onion, not bell pepper, but green onion with the red bell pepper, it's bomb, bro. Like, it tastes so good on top of that eggplant sauce because it adds like a little cool, refreshing taste on top of all the savory aspects of the meal. So you just go ahead and mince these up. Again, I'm not a professional mincer, professional chef, professional none of that. All I know is what my tongue likes and what my teeth enjoy to chew. So that's how I'm cutting it up, you know? Alright, and then now time for the cute little cherry tomatoes. So for this, I do want them a little bit chunky, so I am just cutting it in half, just like I did with the mushrooms. And honestly, this just helps the process go by a little quicker since I am a slow chopper. And then with the green onions, what I like to do is just take all of them and bunch them up in my hand, even them out a little bit, and then I slice the root straight off. And then from there, I slice them up like regular people, honestly, and just do little slices, cut them up in small chunks. And then what you're going to see me do near the end of this is where it's the greenest, that's what I'm going to use to garnish. So again, just like with the red bell pepper, I'm just going to mince those up and then put them on top after everything is done cooking. And they're all chopped up. So I have the green onion, the red bell pepper all minced and ready to go, some mushrooms, and then the sliced red bell peppers, which are going to go in the pot first. The little tomatoes, some green onions, the eggplant and zucchini all in that one bowl. And yeah, let's get started. Alright, so I already greased the bottom of the pan with a little bit of oil, which I'll show you in a second. And I am having this on the lowest setting. Well, not the lowest setting, but close enough to there. And I'm just going to cook down the red bell pepper and the mushrooms, but I'm allowing those flavors to kind of mix together for a good minute. So what I'm going to add to the pot are Himalayan sea salt, some black pepper, and some red cayenne pepper, because I want to get those flavors to start cooking into the vegetables that are already there. And then as we go on, we'll be able to add more. So for these seasonings, just like with most of my meals, I honestly just eyeballed it and did whatever the universe told me to do, honestly. I know that there's many chefs out there or many cooks out there that do the same. They just eyeball whatever seasoning they have and they know when to stop. And that's exactly what I did. But if you do need a little bit of extra guidance, I will leave the ingredients list down below. But yeah, so this is after about 10 minutes of it cooking. I allowed the mushrooms to cook down, and as you can see, it released a lot of water. I haven't yet to add any water to this mixture, and I'm just allowing it to cook down. This was not cooking with a top on, it was just cooking by itself. And what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and add the tomatoes and the green onions, as well as the 2 cans of the tomato sauce. And then on top of that, I'm going to add a little bit of extra seasoning. So I got my rosemary over here, my bay leaves, the oregano leaves, the thyme, and then the basil. The bay leaf isn't going to go in right away, it's going to go in after a little bit, but allow this to boil down for just a quick 10 minutes. So you just went ahead and added all the seasoning. Again, we haven't added in the bay leaf just yet. We want this to simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes. and allow those flavors that are already in there to just melt together. After you allow it to simmer for 5 to 10 minutes on the lowest setting, you should start to see a little bit of the boil bubbles, as you can see from the little sides right there to your furthest corner on the right. And you can add in 2 bay leaves. And then you're going to go ahead and just dump those, or like smash those down a little bit into the sauce. And then you're going to put the top on and allow this to cook for 20 minutes. In these 20 minutes, don't look inside the pot, don't stir the pot, leave a little crack so then a little bit of the steam can be let out, but just leave it alone for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes has passed, I'm going to go ahead and show you what it should be looking like, and then you can go ahead and add the zucchini and eggplant. This is what your sauce should begin to start looking like. It should be boiling by now. You can go ahead and stir the pot if you like, but I would just recommend just dumping the eggplant and zucchini in right away. So it is on the lowest heat setting. We're going to allow the eggplant and zucchini to soak up all the sauce, well, not all the sauce, but the flavor from the sauce, as well as become a little bit softer instead of that spongy texture. Now you can go ahead and stir in the zucchini and eggplant, and on second thought, I am going to add a little bit more Himalayan salt, just because I know how bitter and bland the eggplant is. Again, I just eyeballed it. My family says I'm heavy-handed, so that is what it is. It tastes good to me, but again, salt to your own taste and salt to your own flavor. But do remember that the tomato sauce and tomato paste and all that stuff, it does have like a sweet flavor, and yeah, that's just something to look out for. And then I went ahead and added a little bit extra water because it was becoming more like a paste instead of a sauce, and it was kind of looking like a stew since you saw in the first part. Alright, and now you're going to let this cook down for 30 minutes and just allow all the eggplant and zucchini to soak up all the flavor. This is the moment of truth. Ta-da! This is what it should be looking like. It should still have those little boil bubbles, but everything should be nice and soft, red/orangish in color, and it should have like a saucy texture instead of a paste or a stew texture. And then from this, I allowed it to sit for another 10 minutes, just sitting on the stove, allowing it to cool down a little bit and soak up a little bit more of that flavor, which I highly recommend you guys doing, because when you just eat into it right when it's scalding hot, you might not be able to get all that flavor in the first bite. Will it or will it not make my shoulder bop? We gonna find out. Anyway, this was a really good meal, as you're gonna see in a second. It did earn multiple shoulder bops for me. And in a second, you're just going to hear my sister laugh at me because she thinks it's ridiculous that I do these shoulder bop tests when it's not. Alright, and thank you guys so much for making it to the end of this video. With that being said, I hope all of you guys live your best life, have many shoulder bop tasting flavored foods all your life, and peace, love, and light to you all.